Just getting started or feeling stuck? Wherever you're at, the VO Dojo is here to help you take your voiceover career all the way. Get the training, support, and connection you need to guide you every step of the way from I don't know to working pro. You get a rock-solid foundation and all the tools you need for your sustained, successful voiceover career. Mindset, skill set, and real-world experience, all in a hands-on, hearts-in, supportive community. Join us at thevodojo.com.
Welcome to the VO Dojo 21 Questions. I'm Tish Hicks, the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo here in Burbank, California. And we are here doing Dojo 21 Questions with our dear friend and colleague, Mocean Melvin. Hey, Mocean.
Yeah. I'm stoked to be here. Answer some questions.
Yeah. So let's jump right in. What's your one-word check-in today?
Oh, it's the same as it was yesterday. It's hungry. I'm hungry, physically hungry, but I'm also hungry to dive into these questions and do more VO and check my email to see if any auditions came in during this. So, I like to stay hungry.
Yeah, good. Where are you from originally? Where are you from?
So I was born in Bangkok, Thailand, which is a whole other story. But I grew up in Santa Barbara, California, and spent about 7 years in Oregon, latter half of high school and college, the University of Oregon, go Ducks. And so I've been in LA since the year 2000.
Cool. What did you study at Oregon?
I began as a journalism major, which is what my dad wanted me to do. And I was taking theater classes as electives, just because that's always been an interest for me. I was in school plays and took acting classes and stuff before then. And then I just realized, in that first year, I was like, I don't want to do this journalism stuff. It's cool. I respect it. It's a great profession, but I'm having way more fun. And it's way more creatively fulfilling. And then, the parties are way more fun over at the theater department. So, I was a second-year freshman, spent 5 years at the U of O.
Cool. Yeah. And you said you live in Los Angeles now?
I live since 2000. Yeah.
Cool. And where would we know your voice
from? It's hard to say, like, when were you listening to whatever in the last 25 years, but I would say probably the biggest ones would be Shark Week. I've been doing one or more episodes of Shark Week almost every year since 2008. And various docu-series like Weather Gone Viral on the Weather Channel, the Vengeance series on I believe it's on HLN, CNN Headline News. And then there's currently there's the NFL Network promos and commercials, radio commercials, and Sunday Night Football promos for NBC, which is kind of a big feather in my cap. I'm really happy about that one. My dad would
helmet.
Yes, exactly. My dad would be so proud. And then as the voice of Jack Garland in the video game cult classic Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
Cool. Yeah. Like so a little far-reaching things, a couple of far-reaching things.
Yeah. I try
great.
to have a diversified portfolio.
Yeah. Now, you went to school when you arrived in LA. How long have you been doing voiceover?
So yeah, I started doing, technically it would be the late 90s, because I did get a local agent in Eugene, Oregon, where the U of O is, and Portland. And I was doing, like local radio commercials and on-camera stuff as well. And then I got an internship at the local radio station, not the college station, like the local alternative rock station in Eugene. And I parlayed that into a full-time job. And that is where I really consider that I cut my teeth is because they would give us commercials that we had to voice and produce. So I just sort of learned on the job how to, get copy within 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 15 seconds. And then we would produce it with music beds and sound effects and SOTs and all of the other elements that go into radio commercials. So I was really just having fun back then, but I realize now how valuable that experience was to learn all of like the technical boundaries when it comes to at least radio spots, which translated into a lot of other things as well.
So over 25 years then, or 25
over
years
25 years, yeah. And then when I moved to LA, my plan was to become a movie star. I was like, move over, Leonardo DiCaprio, like here comes Mocean Melvin. But then, very common thing, right? But then I just, I started doing, this is also a really common story. I started doing voiceover on the side because I loved it. And it was something that I had always enjoyed doing. And if I'd been paying attention earlier, I would have known earlier on that this was where my destiny was, because if ever there was a voice class while I was in college, I would take it. And if I could, I would assistant teach it, I would pedagogue it. And I was always, that was always just an area that I really enjoyed messing around with. And then, so I started doing this on the side, started taking classes, started getting, coaching with various people. Lee Gilbert was my main coach at the time. And then she, I could tell that she really believed in me, really thought I should do this. And then I just I got an agent, I started getting traction, and I just so enjoyed it. And I realized like, oh, this is what makes my heart sing and speeds my spirit, and I'm having the most fun. And so then I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this face acting thing anymore. I'm just going to do the voice stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. Who's your current team? And I'll let you define what that means.
Yeah, it is DPN. And that's it.
That's it.
DPN actually for everything except for radio imaging. And that is covered by Nate Zeitz over at Atlas. So he just covers that one thing for me, and he does an incredible job at it. Everything else is DPN. And I've had multiple forms of representation over the years. And that's kind of been an always moving, always evolving kind of thing based on my own things, but also based on a lot of things that were out of my control. And but that's the current state of affairs, right? I've been with DPN since 2010.
Wow, cool. And what's your setup? It looks like
okay,
you got a booth.
I got a booth. I got a booth over here. Looks like we probably have something very similar. I have a whisper room. It's a 4x6. I have I wish I could turn the camera around, but I have customized the heck out of this thing. I've got a like a built-in double shelves here, and I've got a wall-mounted copy stand and a monitor, and I've got my editing desk outside of the booth. And my gear is twofold. I've got a Sennheiser 416 going into a Grace M101, which goes into my audio interface, which is an Apollo X8P, which has 8 ins and 8 outs and a bunch of virtual stuff that goes on, as well as plugins, blah, 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 for the gearheads. And I also have a Neumann TLM 103, which goes through the Avalon 7, what is it? The Avalon 727, something like that, 737.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sounds like an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And that I use for more specific things like certain commercials, animation, video games,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes narration. But it's really kind of something that I just spend more time on to have fun,
Mm-hmm.
because the 416 is just a little bit more of a workhorse, and it's a little bit easier to manage in terms of noise, just for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a noisy guy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the large diaphragm of the TLM picks up a lot of extra stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and which can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my gear.
Yeah. Now, we've kind of talked a little bit about your origin story, starting at college, being in broadcast, coming to LA, and getting started with Lee.
Mhm.
Um, what? So, a little combining questions.
Mhm.
How long would it take from you starting VO to making full-time VO money is one question. And is there anything else in terms of, well, actually, we can also add in the big break
Right.
question too, because I think knowing a little bit about your story, they all kind of tie together. So just on the
Yeah.
logistics side, you've been doing it for 25 years. How long I always find this like so important for people to know. Like, do we spring full blown from the head making our living at voiceover? Maybe shorter times than others, but yeah. So
Sure.
what would you say that logistics of when you started and when you were like, I'm making my living doing full time voiceover?
Right, right. So, technically I made money starting as early as like 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, it's funny, my first acting gig was a print job. It's me eating a corn dog, which I made $50 for it, and it aired in some manual. But anyway, but when it comes to voiceover, yeah. So, but none of that obviously I could sustain myself on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always, I worked in a lot of restaurants and did catering gigs and bartending and other random jobs here and there. And I would say that I really started in earnest, learning how to be a voiceover professional in Los Angeles with
Mm-hmm.
real representation, doing union work and all of that. I started that process in about 2003.
Okay, so
And
that's like 5 years ish.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there
Mm-hmm.
were other things that happened. I wasn't studying the whole time. So I don't want
Mm-hmm.
people to think like, oh, you've got to like bust your ass for 7 years for
No.
things to really take off. It maybe, but it can happen sooner. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I took all of the experience that I had so far, like my theater training, my theater experience, the little bit of on camera and voiceover experience I got. And then 2003, I started coaching with anybody who would take me. I had no money at the time, so
Mm.
I had to like kind of, do some trades and
Mm-hmm.
ask a lot of favors. But I started working with Lee Gilbert right around that time. And then I was in her class. She had a weekly class, and it wasn't just like we're doing a 5-week course, show up, blah. No, it was like every Tuesday night or whatever it was, come and study with Lee. And so I did that with her for about a year and a half. And then, I, she would, at the time offered demo production and recording and finishing and all that stuff. So I went through that whole process with her. And, all along the way, I was like in between those classes, I was doing everything I possibly could. And that everything from like reading every single word that my eye met, like I was reading the back of the ingredients of a bottle, or billboards in my car, or books or poems and everything. So during that time, that there was a very intensive about year and a half before I did that first demo. Lee and I recorded that. It got produced, and then she gave me, when we did the jewel cases, and I printed out the labels and the whole thing. And so she said, produce 20 of these, and here's a list of all the agencies that you should send these to. Send them in a padded envelope and everything like that, and they'll just get thrown onto the pile. And but then save one for me, and I'm gonna walk that into William Morris. And she did exactly that. And then a couple weeks later, not one of the people who I had sent those demos to actually contacted me in any way. Mm-hmm. But I got a call from William Morris. Hey, this is so-and-so from William Morris. We'd like you to come in and have a meeting with Eric Seastrand. I was like, what? So I went in literally the next day and had absolutely the best meeting of my entire life. And we spent, the meeting lasted about 20 minutes. We talked about voiceover for about 3 of those 20 minutes. And the rest of the time was just all like a vibe check. It was just, they were just like, what is this guy like? Mm-hmm. By the end, Eric was like, okay, it's trial by fire around here. So we'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And then, so I auditioned every day with those guys back in the day when you had to go in, and for 6 months, and nothing happened. And I was still going to class. I was still reading every day. I was still working, and nothing hit. And then 6 months in, I got a small radio campaign, a 1 spot a month radio campaign. Mm-hmm. And then for the next year or so, it was like everything just sort of increased. I was working once a month, and now I'm working twice a month. And now, I booked a job that's 5 spots. And then it just very, very slowly, but still none of that was enough to sustain myself. Mm-hmm. I was working at McCormick and Schmick's fish restaurant. And then
you only had to sell 2 fishes to make
it. I had to sell 2 instead of 10. Yeah. But even when I was selling fish, I was like working the craft, you know what I mean? Because I'm not really a fish guy. I like some fish, but they needed you to sell the fish. And the whole thing was romance the fish, they said. Tell the story of the fish. And they would give you a few things like, this was caught off the coast of Santa Barbara by this company and this time of year. So I would say, well, you guys should really try the ocean whitefish, because this was caught by a man named Jerry, who we know very well, who hand delivers it to the wharf every day. Now and so I would just really try to, share, not sell, as the dojo would say. And so, and then I read for Toyota spot, or no, not Toyota, sorry, Nissan. I read for a Nissan spot. And then I got a callback, and I had to go into DG, and it was like, I got a callback. I'm going to a place. And then there was one more round of callbacks. And then the 4th of July weekend happened. And then I remember it was 6 a.m. on Monday morning. And the phone rang. I'm like, who's calling me? I ignored it. The phone just kept ringing. I was like, oh, fine. What? And it was Eric Seastrand. And he was like, you got it. You got the gig. And he was just sounded like he was just doing backflips. He was out of breath. And I realized why, so that gig, that was my big break. And that was in July of 2007. And that was an almost daily, multiple spot commercial gig. And I wasn't the brand voice, but I was the retail voice. And so I just, I was doing a lot of spots, really high volume. And, if it's okay to talk about income,
it's especially okay because if we don't talk about it, people don't know what's possible.
Right.
Right.
So, in the first 6 months of 2007, I made a total of about $20,000, and that was working 2 jobs, catering and at this fish place, and a few spots here and there. And in the second half of 2007, I made $200,000. So that's how quickly your life can change.
Mm-hmm.
And as Bob Bergen told me many, many years ago, he said, one job can change your life. And that job changed my life. And I remember so clearly when I got my first checks from that. I was living in a cockroach infested, one bedroom gross apartment that was run by the Russian mafia. No joke.
In case you didn't pay your rent.
In case, yeah. And so there was danger involved in that. And it was like kind of a rough part of town. And, I came home one afternoon and the sun was shining through the window onto my desk. And there were a couple checks there from William Morris. And I opened it up, and one was for $5,000 and one was for $7,000. And I'd never seen that much money printed on a check with my name on it. And I almost cried. I mean, that feeling was just incredible. And kind of in that moment, all of the time that I had put in, all of the work that I put in, the dedication, the commitment, it just all kind of crystallized in this one moment.
Yeah.
Where it was like, here it is. Here's a reward. Here is what can happen for you. And I really needed the money, I really did at that time. And, but it was a culmination, but it was also a beginning, because it was like, okay, here we go. I can't take this for granted. I've got to keep it up. This isn't like time to rest on my laurels. And away I went.
Yeah. Yeah. At the dojo, we always talk about it's not a culmination, it's an expansion. Like suddenly you were at the next level. You knew what was possible. You knew it was possible for you. And, I remember about my second year of representation writing next year, 6 figures. And then once you get to 6 figures, like, why am I not making 6 figures? What is going on here, people? you start, excuse me, I'm not making 6 figures? Let me talk to the management. No, bitchy way, but like, whoa, what's going on here? Because we know, it's cool. That is so fantastic, and I think that's why we do this, so people know like what it is, what it feels like. What would you say the top 3 ingredients in your success have been?
Oh yeah, okay, so I might have 4 for you because I thought of 4 and I was like, they're all that important. But the first one I would say is a strong intention. And I think goals are good to have, but I prefer to use intentions. Because that to me is more of something that lives in my body, that propels me forward towards a goal or an achievement or in a direction that I want to go. So strong intention is one. Relationship. And I mean that also in multiple ways. My relationship, obviously, with other people that I'm working with. And that includes my agents, my colleagues, other people in the business, engineers, or relationships with engineers are really, really important. And obviously casting directors and all of the other people that are there. But also your relationship to your craft. I like to think of it as like my wife, I think about that relationship, and I absolutely love her, and I'll do anything for her. And I need to tend to that relationship so that she gets what she needs that I can provide from her. Same with voiceover. Like I I can't just be like, okay, voiceover, I did my work. Give me the life, give me the money, give me the fun, like I need to, it's a give and take. And then also there's just the relationship with yourself, and having the relationship with your inner critic, as well as just your higher self, and keeping yourself in check where you need to be kept in check, but loving yourself throughout the whole thing. And I think that that's that's something that actors need to tend, actors of all kinds, performers, musicians, need to be aware of.
So, strong intention,
Strong
relationship
intention,
in all the levels.
strong relationship on all the levels. And the other one is being unreasonable.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
that's a weird one, right? But
Yeah, say more.
being unreasonable means, there are so many accepted ways of behavior and ways of going about things, and reasonable ways of going about a career or whatever. And another way of thinking about this is like thinking outside of the box. And I can point to so many moments in my life and my career where I did something that was unreasonable, that propelled me forward or got me over a hump or something like that.
So cool.
Like when I think about this internship at the radio, for like this first radio station in Eugene, I went to I met somebody from the station, and she said, "Oh, I think there's an internship that you can get through the U of O with the station." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great." And so I contacted the student union who runs the internships at the U of O, and they're like, "No, no such thing exists." And I called up the radio station, and the station was like, "No, we don't. No, maybe we had that, but we don't have that now." And so what I did was I called the U of O back, and I was like, "Hey, I just called the station, and they said that this internship exists. They just need the blah blah blah." And they were like, "Oh, okay, well, let's look into that." And I called the station back, and I was like, "Well, hey, the U of O has got everything prepared. All you guys got to do is like sign this form, and we're good to go." And everybody on both sides was like, "Well, okay." And so I just created this internship out of thin air. And
That's a brilliant story.
yeah.
And it worked out for everyone. You created a win-win. It was good for you. It was good for them. It was good for them, right?
It was a win-win-win. And I'll tell you what I mean by that with my fourth thing, which is, in order to keep it, you've got to give it away. And so what I mean by that is, so many people were kind to me and did so much for me, and I got so much help. And yeah, I did a lot by myself, but so many people gave freely and generously of what they had to offer to help me in my career. And so I try not to keep anything that I do a secret, meaning like trade secrets where, if I tell anybody about this thing,
my secret ingredient,
they'll steal my secret special sauce. So I just, I try to give freely of what I know, and I try to give my time to people who I believe are genuinely good people who need, who could use a hand. And when I started that internship, I was able to get two of my really good friends into this internship program that had been established, and they eventually became part-time employees as well. And and that just feels good.
That is fantastic. That's so cool. What are you proudest of in your voiceover career?
Oh boy. I would say I'm proudest of being able to do what I've done in spite of and because of the challenges that I've had
Mm.
in my life. A big one that I'm thinking of is right after I moved to LA, my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Mm.
And, you know, it was like 6 months to live. And he went down in that amount of time. And that was right after I had moved to LA to, you know, start my new life and my new career. And it really, there was a chain reaction of events that happened after that. Just the aftermath of all of that, which I'll spare you the details, but that was a good story. And it was just all really, really challenging for about 2 years. It was just like a real black hole in my life. And I really had to pick myself up out of a lot of despair and substance abuse and bad behavior and internecine warfare within my family. And, you know, it was a time of my life that I consider when I had less than zero. And, you know, I came out of that in about 2003, you know, went to rehab and came out of that. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to pick my life up from nothing, figure out what it is I love and do it because I can, and I don't have to let these horrible things in my life stop me from doing that. And I want to prove to the world and I want to prove to myself that I can make something out of this life. And so I think, I hope that wasn't too personal or anything like that, but that is the honest answer.
Yeah, that's amazing and brilliant. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Sure.
Yeah. I think the people that I know that are most successful in this have some semblance of we go that deep and that true, and then the connection allows you to go as high.
Yeah.
Well, what's been your biggest fear or challenge? Like, it's interesting what you're most proud of. You were talking about being able to get through that. Like, I guess right now, what's your biggest fear or challenge? Because I think that's another really important thing for people to realize, that just because we get to 30 years, baby, we don't get a watch. We get, oh, what's the next thing that we need to adapt to and worry about? Like, it doesn't change. I mean, it's always changes, but it doesn't go away. That it's always changing and it never goes away. So what would you say your biggest fear or challenge in your voiceover career right now is?
The biggest fear would be to not be current. And the biggest challenge is to stay current. And there are so many things to stay current with the craft itself, with technology, with culture, with even the political climate, you know, and obviously like AI is the latest thing, the latest bomb that's gotten dropped on our industry. And I've seen a lot of bombs dropped. And it's, you know, you got to adapt to survive. And for every one of these new trends or new things that happens, you know, if I was giving advice, not that you asked for that, is that if it scares you, or if it really has an impact on the way that you do things, I would, you know, for me, what I've done is to get pissed, rant about it, get depressed, cry about it if I need to, bitch about it with somebody. And I give all that a limit of about 15 minutes.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to ignore the fact that this scares me or pisses me off, or I don't think it's fair or whatever. Like, I'm going to acknowledge that for a very short amount of time, get it all out quickly, vociferously if needed. And then I'm going to figure out what do I need to do? How do I account for this? I didn't create this. I can't control this. I can only adapt to it.
Yep.
Maybe I can control bits and pieces of it, But the only thing that I really have control over in this situation is how I react and how I adapt. So
Yep.
it's an ongoing challenge. But as when it comes to challenges, I always look at a challenge like, is it really challenging, or is it a challenge
Yes.
that I'm excited to meet?
Right. How it's once again how you respond. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, good, good. Introvert or extrovert?
Oh boy, so I've been accused of by a mental health professional of being an introvert masquerading as an extrovert.
Okay.
So a lot of, I think I'm an introvert, but a lot of people, when I tell people that, they're like, shut up. So I would
Interesting.
say introvert.
Okay. And if you could do voiceover from anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Space.
Space. Awesome.
That
Anywhere
is the
outside
easy.
of the world.
I mean, I didn't have to think about that one for very long. Like, yeah, first of all, I want to be able to go to space. I hope that is even possible in my lifetime. But it's like, if I could be anywhere in the world, or it would be outside of the world. I mean,
That's
I've
cool.
always thought, like, I would love to just be looking down on planet Earth, because I've done multiple, not multiple, probably like three. Three shows, bits of in-show narration that started with an image of the globe and me saying Earth. So I want to
You weren't
actually
in the spaceship, but
be
you
able,
know
yes,
what it feels like. Yeah.
from the
Ground
spaceship.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. What would you say your VO motto is?
Oh gosh.
Or what would you make up if you didn't have
I've
one?
been thinking about this because it's just like, there's so many models or mottos, or there's so many things to remember in a certain situation. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm in a live session, if I'm working with somebody, my motto or the principle is, I am here to make your job easier. And when I think about working with other people in my career, I say, to keep it, you got to give it away. And so, but there's a much catchier way of saying this, I'm sure, but after thinking about it all morning, my motto would be stay in love.
Ooh, that's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
Like, stay in love with this amazing craft and this amazing career.
Yeah.
And that, if you're in love with it, you get all the answers.
Oh my gosh. And that ties into recognizing that you're in a relationship that's
It-
equally as important as with your significant other, as with your family, as with yeah, that's so
yeah.
beautiful. So good. I'm so glad you're here. Um, well, I know you had some adjustments to your typical VO day recently,
Oh
but
yeah.
in a nutshell, is there like what's your how do you approach a VO day?
Yeah. So it, obviously it varies from day to day, but I'll just give you, like, if I could have the ideal
There
day,
we go. Okay.
I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just, there's nothing heroic about that. I've
Mm-hmm.
just done that for years. I prefer to get up, and I go to bed early. So from 5 till 6, I'll have, get dressed, have breakfast. I've got a little morning routine. I have a lot of checklists. So I
Mm-hmm.
do the morning routine checklist, and then I'll meditate. And then by 6, I'll do some kind of a workout, which always includes 30 minutes on just a stationary bike, during which I will play Xbox. And I tell you, there's no better way to get through a monotonous exercise where you can be in front of your TV playing a video game. And then from for the next hour, I have a hour long vocal warm-up routine, which I recorded, I wrote down, and then I recorded. So I basically just turn this thing on, and it's me giving myself instructions.
Oh, cool.
And that includes stretching. It includes Alexander technique. It includes Linklater technique. It includes some techniques that are more physiological that I got from a speech therapist at USC. And then there's elocution exercises. There's some singing exercises. And then I'll read a copy of my choice. And that usually comes out of a book, or it's a poem or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then when I feel really warm, then I'll look at whatever auditions I have for the day. And then, and for the rest of the day, it just depends on what comes in or what's gotten scheduled. Typically, if I'm working with an East Coast client, I'll have something booked for late morning or sometimes early morning. And then, if it's NFL Network or an imaging script, those can come in at any hour, any time of the day. And so, when I've got my free time, what I'll do is, I'll just, I'll go online and try to research, like, what are some trends? I'll just watch commercials. I have a lot of stuff DVR'd where I don't watch the show. I just watch the commercials and the promos. I'll fast forward through the content. And, there's so much you can do in your downtime when you're not doing auditions or doing warm-ups. There is just a infinite number of things that you can do to stay current and to keep your body and your mind in the zone.
Yeah. One of the things that I say about voiceover is a great way to make a living, and the people I know who are successful at it make it a way of life. It sounds like you really have it as a way of life, which is beautiful. It's
beautiful. I love that. I'm using that from now on. A way of life.
Yeah. Knowing what you know now, what would you say to yourself at the beginning of your career?
Oh boy. This is another tough one. There was a time when it was like, you can't tell me, I know everything. I would just say, you put the wood on the fire before you get the heat. Don't go to your fireplace and say, give me heat and I'll give you wood.
Beautiful image. Yeah. You have to kindle your career.
You have to feed the fire to get the heat.
Oh, that's good.
And you got to keep feeding it or else the fire will die.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's good. And so we're like, turn up the thermostat. So like, why is it cold in here?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, Mocean, damn. I had a feeling this was going to be an inspirational 21 questions, but it's just been like off the charts. So articulate, so from the heart, so true. I'm really looking forward to having you join us for Ask the Sensei. So we got to ask you a bunch of questions so we can be hood in the space and answering people's questions when you join us for Ask the Sensei. Thank you so much for making the time and sharing your insights.
You're so welcome, and thank you. I love speaking with you, Tish, because you embody something that I believe we all need. Like, you love this. I can tell you are enjoying yourself, even if you're frazzled and you got other things going on. When you're doing your craft, when you're teaching something, when you're running a workshop, and even in this interview, I can tell you love this, and it touches your spirit. And so thank you for inviting me to this and letting me be involved.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll see each other soon.
All right. Sounds good.